Hello pips. Right, finally finished. Whew. Hard work. Right. Good points. Looks nice. Bad points. There are quite a few. The screws, well, the instructions are shit. They're not very clear. They're hard to follow. It's all in Chinese. It does give screw sizes, but there's so many different bags of screws, and it is bloody hard to put it together, put it that way. A couple of bits. There is front hubs that go in here that have got nuts in them. I will show you what I mean. So that would go in the front wheel and the nut is in it. Now it's metal. There's no way, no easy way of screwing it in there because they don't give you a tool. So you kind of scratch it trying to get it in. I use thin nose pliers to get round the sides, kind of lock it in there like that to turn it. I managed to go one up the path and the wheel fell off because I just couldn't get it tight enough. So I've put a couple of normal nuts in there, and I'll make some caps or something to cap it, because it's nice, but it's not brilliant because you can't do them up. So there's loads of screws over, but there was also some screws missing that were actually needed. These are far too slim, flimsy, flim crap plastic. I've broke both of them already just putting the cab on. So if you make one of these, leave them to the very last thing if you're going to use them. Glue them on when you've finished the build. They're far too skinny bits of plastic, and they are just plastic, and they've just snapped straight away, both of them. What else? The front don't fit properly, no matter how I try. There's an hinge in there that is just plastic. Now it just sits up in a groove up the top, so it's in there, but it's too high. It just doesn't fit. It's not the end of the world, but it would be nice if it fitted. Now I'll be honest, if this was the first King Kong I'd built, I probably wouldn't buy another one. But this is the third one I've built, because the first two was, yeah, they was a bit hard to put together because the same thing, the instructions were a bit vague. I'll show you the instructions. They're a bit vague, a bit hard to follow. As I said before, if you're a newbie at this, I wouldn't bother with these. This is for someone that knows what they're doing. So it does give you parts. It gives you kind of part numbers, if you can find the actual part number on whatever you're looking for. And it gives you screw sizes, but it's not very clear what the screws are. Perfect example doing the cab. Now I'd already put quite a few of these in before I realised that, what one is it? This one, well, that looks like a machine screw, but it ain't. It's a self-tapper. So yeah, it's a bit weird to work out. Like I say, that the instructions are a bit vague when you get some of the weird parts where it's literally just trying to figure out what do they mean, where does it go. So like mean, it's just arrows all the way through the cab, and you're trying to figure out what the bloody hell is what. Again, they look like machine screws. They're self-tappers. Again, I only figured out halfway through and thought, I ain't got enough screws. Why ain't I got enough screws? Then found a bag of self-tapping screws of the same size and thought, well, it must be them. I guess that Chinese might say that, but I don't read Chinese, unfortunately. But anyway, it's done. It's you don't get this with it. I had to buy this separate. I already had one, but that's don't come with it, so you need somewhere to put a battery. The tank's metal but solid, so you can't put nothing in there. The bonnet does lift, keeps pulling the magnets out even though I've glued them in, but anyway. So yeah, the motor's in there. I have personally, there is a bit in the floor like a battery compartment, but obviously once the cab's on you can't get to it, so it's a bit weird why it's there. I've put the speed controller in there, drilled some holes through the front and run it through under the bonnet for the motor wires, and cut some slots in it so the wires come out the back for the battery and the receiver wires. The receiver is in the fuel tank out the way, which makes it a little bit waterproof, splash proof I guess. That's about it actually. I don't know what else I can mention on it. I can't give it a run. I went outside just now. Like I say, I got up the end of the path, the wheel flew off and now it's raining. It looks nice, it is nice. From what I drove up the path, it drives nice, apart from the wheel flying off obviously. So hopefully when it's not raining I'll give it a little run and video it and show you. But the door's open. I haven't put the door cards in yet. They are very tight fit, which is good because you don't want them flying out. So there is an interior in there. Let's say the weird, it's bloody tight. You need 2 hands to show it. Let's say the weird bit underneath, I don't know, it makes no sense. It'd be easier to show you in the book. But it really doesn't make any sense. Wrong book. And as you can see, 3 manuals. One for the chassis, one for the cab, one for the back. So this bit here, it goes on like it's a battery cover, but obviously once it's on, the chassis rails go across it, so you ain't got no access to it, which seems a bit weird why you would have it. But anyway, I've put the ESC in there. Like I say, I drilled a couple of holes through, so underneath through into the engine compartment, if you like, for the motor wires, and then I cut a couple of slots in the back so the other wires can come out. But yeah, so apart from that, the ship mirrors, it is a nice little truck. Now I need to make a dolly so I can pull the trailer that I built to go with it. Because it's underneath, I've put the on-off switch. Is why there is a nut there, because I've had to put the on-off switch there, because there ain't a lot of wire on the from the ESC and nowhere else to put it. So I guess you make up your own mind where you're putting all that sort of stuff. The sides and the back all open. Yeah, it's worth the money. But if I was, like I say, if this was my first one, I'd never buy another one. Maybe it is just me, but I've had a couple of comments on a couple of the other videos, or one video on one of the videos, a comment that he had loads of screws and that missing as well. Not brilliant. Like I say, doing the other two, these two, very happy with them. So nice to build, and well, like I say, you have to work it out, but everything fitted. The other thing with this that you can't actually see, the front isn't screwed on, the front of the body, because the holes don't line up. So it will lift slightly. It's not secured how it should be, because the holes in the bracket don't line up with the holes in the chassis. So it's only really bolted at the back here. Well, I say this, I can't really show you much until it stops raining, then I'll give it a run. So it'll be another video probably tomorrow, hopefully. So I will see you on that one.